LSI 2021 at the beautiful Ritz-Carlton Laguna Niguel. It's nearly true tales of innovation. I'm your host, Benjamin Glenn. Say hello to my guest, Adam Sachs, here at LSI 2021. Adam, thanks for coming by the studio.
Thanks so much for having me.
So how's the conference been for you so far?
It's been incredible. I mean, this is one of the best conferences, especially just watching the progress and it's come up in such a short amount of time to watch everything that they've done, the people that they brought in, the other companies. Getting to see some of these amazing technologies has been incredibly fun.
Scott Pentel does a great job of curating an array of different companies and investors. So I got to see you you were on a panel at lunch today. How did that go for you?
It was really good. It was, Noam did a great job of moderating it, setting up all the questions. And it's really fun to have the opportunity to share some of our story, and especially around fundraising, the startup itself, the last 7 years of the experience here, rather than just talking about, the product that we're launching, which I am incredibly excited about and looking forward to talking about. But it is fun to tell the story of the company as well.
Well, let's get right into that, Adam. So you've had some recent good news, and if you've been in a cave and haven't heard, why don't you share that with us now?
Yeah, so we will be going public via SPAC merger for a total deal size of bringing in over 400 million onto our balance sheet, about 460 total. Merging with D8 Holdings, it's a SPAC run by some really incredible people. At Vicarious Surgical, D8 Holdings has decided to merge with us after a ton of diligence, digging in for really the last couple of months with their experts, advisors, sending out surgeons to visit and try our system. And we signed a definitive agreement and raised an incredible pipe with Becton Dickinson and a major institutional investor as two of the larger checks in the pipe.
Oh, congratulations, Adam. That sounds like fantastic advancements. So, Adam, it seems like vicarious surgery is part of that trajectory of going from invasive to minimally invasive, and now maybe super ultra minimally invasive. Can you tell us more about how it fits into that arc of minimally invasive surgery?
Yeah, of course. So, the minimally invasive surgery really started in an attempt to get away from open surgery, which is where surgeons make large incisions. They quite literally open up the patient, use their own hands. They can see with their own eyes. But unfortunately, with open surgery, the complication rates are as high as about 20% from the incision site itself. So that's what minimally invasive surgery has always been all about, is getting away from those huge incisions to number 3 to 5, sometimes more, tiny little incisions in the abdominal wall, inserting long, slender instruments through those incisions into the abdominal cavity and operating. But unfortunately, it's really transferred a lot of the complications from the patient over to the surgeon into the hospital. Even with legacy multi-port surgical robots, the surgeon has to actually design the robotic motion for every procedure that they perform based on where they put those incisions. So our technology is it's a single port system. There have also been a few other single port attempts, but they're all based on flexible robotic technology, have incredibly low forces, very limited operating areas straight in front. And importantly, they're actually starting to get back up to open surgery complication rates with incisions that are in the ballpark of 2.5 centimeters or more across. So our system is much, much smaller, much less invasive, and also offers much more capability for the surgeon.
How does your system enable that surgeon to have that kind of better operating feel or better operating capability over the single port access systems that have existed before?
Good question. So the existing single port systems that have been developed, as well as the multi-port systems, they've either been based on flexible robotics, which has very little force capability overall compared to its size, or rigid robotic technology that has coupled motion. And what that means is that every joint that you move, all the other joints also move. And the result of that is, unfortunately, an exponential buildup of force across the arm. So we figured out how to remove that buildup of force, fully decouple the actuators. That allows us to have rigid decoupled actuators, nine actuators total inside of the body that actually replicate the wrists, elbows, and shoulders of the surgeon. So that gives them so much more dexterity, all through a single 15 millimeter, 1.5 centimeter incision. That's a normal laparoscopic sized incision, offering all of this capability to the surgeon.
Adam, it's interesting to think about the, augmenting the surgeon. We always need the surgeon's hands, the surgeon's skills. One of the themes that started earlier in some other interviews today, we were looking at Formula One. And if you look at the evolution of Formula One, in the 1970s, not much, a lot of manual, the strength of the driver really. But then the car began to augment, and now you look at it today. So do you think that holds for how your company is going to help change or augment the surgeons? Do you think does that analogy hold for you?
Of course. I mean, it's a really good analogy. We're already doing that today. Already adding some, superhuman capabilities that are beyond the surgeon's own motion capability that they can do across multiple different areas to help with suturing, to help exert forces similar to that steering wheel. And on top of all of that, we've also put 28 sensors in each arm of the robot. This allows us to measure force and position in real time. Our camera maps the abdomen in 3D due to a combination of technologies that are built into it. And all of that allows us to essentially, the analogy I'd actually use for this is it's, our AI team has actually built the self-driving car instead of many of our competitors that are focusing on automating an existing, Toyota Corolla. We've literally put the LiDAR, we put the radar, we put the computer vision, everything that you need in order to collect the data to both for large data sets as well as interoperatively for that individual procedure in order to automate. And we're focused entirely on things that make the surgeon's life easier. We're a long way from true autonomous surgery, but really cutting back on the amount of sort of simple tasks that the surgeon has to do repetitively will make their jobs much easier and make them able to perform surgery much better.
So are there the procedures that you're beginning with? Have you got to start somewhere? Where are you beginning? What's the first strike point for the company? If you can talk about that.
Yeah, no, of course. We're starting with hernia repair, specifically ventral wall hernia repair. With legacy surgical robots, it's incredibly difficult to access the ceiling of the abdomen, the ventral abdominal wall, when the patient is lying on their back on the operating table. You end up really struggling to access the area. Our system can quite literally, the surgeon can reach up, work above themselves easily, naturally. They can sew, they can do what's called a complex abdominal wall repair, separation of parts technique, where you actually take down some of the layers of the abdominal wall, tuck a prosthetic mesh up above the abdomen, up above those layers, up above either the rectus abdominis muscle or right above the peritoneum. This results in much better outcomes for the patient. But it's so difficult to do with legacy surgical robots that it's rarely performed. I will say though that is a stepping stone to the rest of the market. It's an amazing market, but it is just a stepping stone. We are going to be doing so many more procedures, and within a year, we're launching tool after tool, indication after indication to get to a much broader market.
So where does your team primarily operate?
We're in Boston, so we're actually this week we are moving from in the city of Boston to a suburb as we've acquired significantly more space or building out a larger facility, including manufacturing, a clean room, and a number of other related things. So we're incredibly excited to be moving to Waltham into this new facility.
Adam, Vicarious has been funded. Lots of gas in the tank from VC. Now you've made that pivot. You've gone through and shot the rapids in the SPAC process. Can you help set up that comparison? What was it like between normal venture, which lots of experience there, not so much on the SPAC? What can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, it's been two pretty different beasts here between raising private funding from VCs. Our primary backers are Bill Gates and his venture fund, Vinod Khosla's Khosla Ventures, Eric Schmidt's Innovation Endeavors, as well as a handful of other pretty incredible funds that are backing us. But we're working with them specifically versus working with the public markets and going public via the SPAC merger are two very different things. With the SPAC merger, the process is pretty significant. Really starts with finding an incredible bank. We're working with the team at Credit Suisse that has done this pretty good handful of times at this point. And then you have a number of roadshows that you go on. So you do a SPAC roadshow, find a SPAC that you really want to partner with long term. And I think for a company like us, it was really important finding the right partners, the ones that would do all of the diligence to give the public markets the confidence that they really need for a transaction like this to be effective. And then you do a pipe roadshow because you really need to it's important to raise the pipe that is the private investment into the SPAC that essentially validates the transaction. It serves as price discovery for that transaction. We are incredibly proud to have some amazing investors join our pipe, and we were oversubscribed, especially in a pretty brutal market over the last month or two. I think most pipes actually haven't gotten done successfully, and we were proud to have made it out, actually both upsizing the total round and cutting back some of the investors in order to fit people in. And then after that, you file an S4, go through the review process with the SEC, and complete the merger and change the ticker over.
It sounds like an incredible process, and that you navigated it well.
Yeah, it's been, I'll say the things that really were key to navigating it well were having an amazing team, our executive chairman, as well as our GC, CFO, and the entire internal team that supported all of this, plus the external advisors at Credit Suisse and beyond, have been really instrumental in this process. And really having that group behind you, I mean, this is not something that I could have done, right? It's something that our company, our team is doing.
Yeah, I think maybe that's the thing. SPACs are a team sport.
100%. I mean, it's a major operation to take a company public, and takes kind of like you're talking about the panel. I think this was one of the questions that was asked, and one of the other panelists mentioned the importance of that team when taking your company public, and I really couldn't agree with that more.
Adam, is there anything more you want to tell us about the SPAC process or what you experienced there?
Yeah, I think the last thing I'd really add there is the importance of choosing the right partners. There are a lot of factors to consider, and there are a lot of reasons that we're incredibly excited to be partnering with D8 Holdings. I think it comes down to the diligence that I mentioned, but also their ability to actually help drive our company and build our company long term. The commitments that they're making to us to join us long term, to actually help set up distribution in Asia, which is going to be an incredible market for us, as well as, frankly, their financial expertise that they bring to the table, especially with Donald, the president and founder of the SPAC, being the former CEO of DE Shaw Asia. So all of that together has made it a really good partnership with the medical device experience and company experience that we bring, and then everything that they bring to the table. So it's part of the reason I'm really excited about this being an actual merger of the two companies coming together.
I think that is one of the advantages of the SPAC. It is a merger. You're bringing something together that wouldn't have been there, but now we have a new vehicle. So I look forward to hearing of your success and seeing how this goes forward.
Thanks.
Adam, thanks for coming to the studio and visiting with me.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a pleasure.